Why many people come to Thailand, man?
You know what going on in here?
What going on in Thailand?
Everywhere, woman.
Is this a place for travel, for
Yes.
food,
For have
for
fun.
music, for fun? Why everybody come to Thailand?
You know
To
what?
Pattaya,
Every woman, this go, the bees go, everywhere.
the beach girl, the
Yes.
disco, every woman.
Yes.
People come for women.
Yes.
Why they
Same
come?
like you come for women too.
Same like me.
He talked to the three girl today.
Oh,
The
what?
bees girl. Three girl, the first girl shot 1,000.
1,000.
Second girl shot 800.
800.
And the third girl shot 900.
900.
And I where your room? Let's go to your room.
Let's go.
Go.
Wow. Wow. Y'all hear that?
I said, do it. 800. Just he really like, bossy likes the girl. He said she really cute and sexy. I like to do it. Let's go. Take her go to your room. You believe I tell the truth.
You tell the truth,
Yes.
and that's real talk.
Yes, real talk for me right now.
Oh, she said real talk.
It's the Iggity, Biggity, Bossy Bossolini back cooking with what?
Gasolini.
He is affectionately known as the Plug, the Passport Bro of Passport Bros. He's one of the most outrageous content creators on these YouTube streets. Another esteemed guest on our Bet on Yourself series of the Bet Out of That show. Welcome to the show, Big Boss Real Talk from where?
Oakland, California.
Oh man, it's so good to have you in the building, Big Boss Real Talk. How you feeling this morning, brother, before we get into it? Because we're going to learn a lot about you that most people don't know.
Wow. I'm feeling well. I'm blessed and highly favored. Today is the first day of my 7-day fast. I'm going without food for the next week, and I plan to break my fast next week, Sunday. Eating raw meat on Richie Rich Roll the Tapes channel. So that's going to be next week, Sunday. But this whole week, no food, only liquids.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. And I know Richie Rich Roll the Tapes who introduced you to YouTube. But man, that's a dope name, Roll the Tape. That's filthy.
Right?
But look, let's get into it. We're gonna get in a lot of your info, kind of your background info. But let's start off right off the bat. How in the heck did you come up with the name Big Boss? Where did that name come from?
Just my lifestyle, my personality, how I carry myself. To be honest, my ego, right? I got a big boss size ego. Whether it's warranted or not, in my mind, I'm a boss and I carry myself like a boss, and I happen to be a big guy on top of that. So that's basically where I got it from. Just my persona, my personality, my ego, just the way I move, just big boss.
So you coined that yourself. No one gave it to you.
No, not big boss. Interestingly enough, boss is a term that's used around Oakland and other places out of respect. So over the years, a lot of people just call me boss, but not just only me boss. But I've been called boss off and on a lot. So I just added the big boss to it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Now look, I'm going to get into the personal now. So let's go here. Most people may not know that you were a high ranking leader in your church for many years prior to being on YouTube. How does a fourth generation, you go back generations in the church, how does a fourth generation 7-day Adventist church leader, is that a Jehovah Witness?
Oh no, not
Okay.
a Jehovah Witness is a Jehovah Witness.
Oh, okay.
No,
I don't know. I'm not a religious guy, but a Seventh
yeah.
day Adventist, how do you lead the church to become an explicit YouTube content creator? bust it up. It must have taken a lot of soul searching for you to make that move.
Yeah, I would say soul searching, or maybe lack of, right? Lack of soul searching. And the sequence of events wasn't quite like that. Where I found myself, I didn't leave church, to become a YouTuber of any sort. But interestingly enough, even when I was connected with the church of the Seventh Day Adventist, I this same channel I had is literally the same channel, but with a different name, obviously. Before I went and edited the name, had over 140 videos of religious nature for the most part. And so, fun fact, when I started this channel, I actually went in and I unlisted all those videos. So those videos, very symbolically, are still on my channel. I see them. All those religious videos I did over the years are on my channel unlisted. And then I just X'd out that name and I typed in Big Boss Real Talk and I started this content. And this basically is showing my journey where I'm at now. You know, who knows in the future? Maybe I might go back into the fold. But whatever I do, I'm real. When I was in the church, I was real. Now I'm outside the church, I'm real. The Bible said, Jesus Christ said, I'd rather you are hot or cold. If you are lukewarm, I spit you out my mouth. So it ain't no faking with Big Boss. It is what it is.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why you're here. I respect the truth and honesty. A lot of us are not brave enough to do what you do, or crazy enough. Man, your channel is very explicit. And I'm telling you, you used to be, I mean, you go back generations, and how many generations, and is it down your mother's line or your father's
Yeah,
line as far as the
it's
seventh
the
day?
mother's, obviously, right? You would think it's the mother's line. In Adventism, it does kind of go by generations or whatnot. So I would be considered fourth generation from my great grandfather, I believe. Yeah, my great grandfather. He was a Sunday minister in Arkansas, I think Pine Bluff, Arkansas. But he studied the Bible and he learned about the Sabbath, which is the seventh day Sabbath of the Lord thy God, the fourth commandment, the Sabbath, which is Saturday. So he started being a Saturday worshiper or a 7 day Adventist. So from him, my grandfather to my grandmother to my mother to me. So I'm fourth generation 7 day Adventist. And all 7 day Adventists is it's Christians. Some people look at us as a cult because we don't worship on Sunday. Like Sunday is the day to go to church, right? Sunday morning. Because they say Jesus rose on Sunday morning. So Sunday. 7 day Adventists are Christians that simply worship on Saturday because they're going strictly by the Bible, the fourth commandment. The seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. So yada yada yada. Yeah, I was a minister, not a ordained pastor, but I was, or still am, technically a deacon, an ordained deacon. And in the church, deacons have the authority. We can preach. We can do pretty much everything, but deacons can't baptize. You have to be an elder. You have to be an elder to be able to baptize. So I could preach, I could teach. I did teach Bible classes, Bible studies. I would go out to people's homes and pray and do Bible studies with them. So I know that's kind of weird. Uh, Now people say, "What? Big Boss
What?
used to do
Did,
that?"
did you see that intro that I just played with you and Miss Thumper?
Hey, yeah, I
I mean,
did.
that's
Shout out
a
to Big Thumper.
huge switch. I mean, when I found out and we had conversation in preparation for you coming on the show, I was like, yo, this is the bravest guy. And you stepped away from all of that. And I was going to ask you this question later, but I'll ask now. You, in talking to you off camera, you plan to come back to the church at some point.
Yeah, I do. At some point before I die, I do. I think that, in all honesty, I think this is a phase, and I believe that God still has His hand on me. It's when I talk with my mom, my mom, she hates it, right? Shout out to my mom. But my mom tells me, she said, God has a plan for you. even though you go overseas fishing, she call it fishing. Even though you go, she cracks me up. Even though you go overseas fishing,
Fishing.
and you do what you do, God still has a plan for you. Even in this craziness you call yourself doing, you think you're doing your own thing. God has a plan for you. And I said, okay, Mom. Well, if He does, He does. I'm just doing me. But whatever I do, I'm going to be real about it. My thing is, part of the reason why I left the church too. I didn't want to be one of these fake people in church that come to church every Saturday, not Sunday for us, every week, and still be dealing with stuff in their life that they know is not right. So I say, you know what? Let me step away, work out what I need to work out, do what I got to do. And if the good Lord in His grace, if He extends my life and keeps me safe, hopefully He'll bring me back in the fold. But I can't be fake. And I even in my conversations with the Lord, I even tell the Lord that I can't be fake. I gotta be me. I gotta be me.
You
So
gotta
it
get
is
it
what it
out.
is.
You gotta bust it up.
I gotta bust it up, Bossellini. So
But
it is
go ahead.
it is somewhat of an internal conflict. If I'm being totally honest and transparent, it's an internal conflict from my life, how I was raised, to what I'm doing now. But I feel a strong conviction just to go forward, and we're going to see what happens. Who knows? Maybe years from now, when I duck and bob and weave and come back, maybe I'll bring other people with me through my journey. Other people are going through what I'm going through, but I'm not going to be fake about it.
And yeah,
And
and
that's
we're not. I just want to jab in here, man, because we're not monolithic. And what I respect about you is your truth and honesty, bro. And that's why I wanted to have you on the Bet Out of That show. Because part of the reason I do this is because I'm middle aged. And when I'm a grandpa someday, I want my grandkids to come back and look and listen to people like you who live their truth. That's why we named this show what we named it, is Blazing Your Trail, because you are actually living it, bro. I mean, it's a lot of us are not brave enough to do it.
yeah. Well, you know what you put your mind to. What you put your mind to, you do. I put my mind to doing YouTube, um, and I got monetized in about 4 or 5 months. So whatever I put my mind to, normally it's blessed, so to speak. And so it is what it is. So right now, this is the path I'm on, and we're just gonna see what happens. So
Yeah,
I'm just living
yeah,
my life, living my truth, and that's real talk. It is what
yeah.
it is.
And we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to a lot of your travels and your YouTube
Yes,
channel and all
sir.
of that. So we'll be getting to that. Any concerns about going back to the church though? When you go back, any concerns there? And what would you have to say to kind of a viewer, that a younger viewer, that will make us pivot and know that it's a temporary pivot? What kind of thoughts you have on that?
Uh, Not really, because it's come as you are, and the way I feel, they can't tell me nothing. From what I seen, like I said, and as far as I'll go with this, one of the reasons I chose to walk away because I didn't want to be fake, right? So from what I seen, can't nobody tell me nothing. So and the whole thing is I'm real. I'm real when I leave, and I'll be real if and when I come back. And so it's going to be what it's going to be. Uh, Also, many of the Bible greats were very flawed people, that the Lord changed. You had thieves, you had killers, you even had whoremongers or whatnot, tax collectors. But when they came to Christ, Christ was able to change them. So Christ can change anybody, and that is the foundation of the Christian religion, is redemption. And I know it better than most. I don't know everything, obviously, right? I don't, but I know better than most, the theology, the religion. So they can't tell me nothing, and they're not going to be on a more high horse to tell me anything. So when I come back, I'll come back. on my own time, in my own way.
I hear you, big boss. That's real talk, bro. And you one of the realest, man. That's why I respect you so much. Look, in the introduction of the show that we just played, we heard about your successful men's travel channel on YouTube, the Big Boss Real Talk, as well as your other channel, Big Boss Smoke Channel. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, well, the Big Boss Smoke channel came about because anybody that follows Big Boss knows that I had one particular mega troll. And so on my channel, I was going back and forth with this troll. And on my channel, I wanted to keep my channel mostly positive, even though it's real talk. But I didn't want my main channel to descend into a lot of negative toxicity. So I said, let me make a separate channel where I can just let loose on this troll and anybody else who has smoke for passport bros. So that's what that was about. It was a place to vent and not get my big main channel into trouble. But also, like I said, at this point, I'm going to keep it up. Very interestingly enough, me and this troll actually had a somewhat heart to heart just last night. Believe it or not.
What? What?
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Razor Rays, another travel bro on Razor Rays panel. This
That's
guy,
what's up.
yeah, this guy was on there, and so shout out to Richie Rich Roll the Tape and others. They all hit me on the side. They said, "Boss,
If you need to stop
you
this.
know who? He's out in the open. He's on friendly territory. He's on Razor Ray show." I'm
What?
like, whoa. So I tuned in. I listened for a while,
Yeah.
and then of course I have Razor's number. So I hit Razor while he was live. I hit him. I said, "Raze, put me in." He said, "Oh, boss." I said, "Put me in, Raze." So it was crazy. It's still up. It should still be up. I clipped it, and this mega troll even apologized to Bossy Boss last night.
What?
Yeah,
What?
he apologized to my face. And so it's crazy because I have a video loaded, ready to go that technically I was going to drop after this. It's already, I recorded it a few days ago. I do have to do a few more edits. And in my mind, I was ready to drop it later today after this. But just last night, he apologized to my face. So what do I do with that? So, yeah, YouTube is crazy, man. And God or whatever, the Lord, the universe is just working. And then the very next morning, I come on your show and I do a heart to heart about my origin. So, yeah, life is crazy.
I
But
love it.
I did tell him. I did tell him the videos I already have up. Stay up as a reminder. And if you get out of line, I got one waiting, ready to drop. I'm gonna
Of
hold off.
course.
I'm gonna hold off on that, and it's a slew of others. And I also have the channel for any passport hater, guys and people that hate on passport brothers. You hate on passport brothers, Big Boss is going to come for you on a Big Boss Smoke channel.
Yeah, that's real talk with Big Boss. Listen, man, you keep it 1,000 for sure. What dating coaches? How do you feel about that whole situation?
Yeah, that's very interesting. So I guess right now it's a narrative, some kind of beef or war between passport bros and dating coaches. I don't really participate in that per se. Shout out to others. I'm giving shout outs to my guy QB Passport Flexing. QB Passport Flexing is a YouTuber. He's a travel bro. He focuses on Mexico and overseas travel. Him and other black pillars, is mostly the black pill community that have a problem with dating coaches, not so much red pill. So black pillars, real fast, basically have a very negative, pessimistic, like bleak outlook. That's why it's called black pill.
I was
And they
going to ask
basically,
you what that meant, but go ahead.
yeah, exactly. So black pill in a nutshell. It's deeper than this, but the 5 second definition of black pill. You have red pill. Red pill is just basically the awareness, right? You wake up and you become aware. Just like from the movie The Matrix, you wake up to the BS. You wake up and you're aware of what's going on about female nature, feminism, our modern society. Red pill, you're aware and you just know how to navigate. It is a thing called red pill rage, where in the beginning you do get kind of upset and you kind of rage, but after a while you go through the red pill rage and you just learn how to move and maneuver. You can't get mad at the other sex. You can't get mad at women. You can't get mad at society. You just have to learn how to move. Part of that learning how to move is using your passport. But black pill takes it to a whole new level. Black pill gets mad, stay mad, and they just say, F, F everything, F society. We are doing us. Everything is bleak. We have no more faith, no more hope in none of this stuff. So black pill is very pessimistic. I don't consider myself black pill. I'm red pill. Red pill just means I'm aware. Black pill is very negative, and they just eschew everything. They say, you know what? Everything is trash. Everything is garbage. That's why we travel. So I know it's kind of nuanced, but the difference between a red pill and a black pill is black pills is negative, have a negative bleak outlook. So their thing is that's why they go against dating coaches. They say you are trying to give these guys game and pick up artistry when everything is just trash and garbage and there's no hope, there's no use. Red pill would say there's still hope. You just have to know how to move. So that's what it's about. So to answer your question, blah blah blah. Big Boss, being that I'm red pill, I don't have a big problem with dating coaches. Now at the same time, I won't really utilize them, but I can say this: dating coaches, I think, do have a purpose. They serve a function because people date, right? Duh, people date in America,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah, so
Absolutely.
they serve a purpose. Now, do they have some con artist type pickup artists? Some guys,
Oh,
some
you
guys who
going
really
there?
don't
You
have.
going there, big boss? Go ahead.
Yeah,
You real talk. Go ahead.
I real talk. Yeah. So, but you have some real ones. Like I would say, shout out to Alpha Male Strategies (AMS). He's a real one, right? And you have several other men, masculine men in a masculine frame that will help men, especially young men, how to navigate the dating field in America. So I don't have a problem with that. But my thing is personally, I just bypass all of that and I'll just use my passport. But I don't have a problem with dating coaches. But you do have some in a travel community that do, but normally the
Hmm.
ones who have the problem are normally black pill. Black pill has a problem with dating coaches, not red pill. Because technically, dating coaches are red pill for the most part. Dating coaches are manosphere. The men
Exactly.
centered topics. Is dating coaches are teaching you the reality to be aware of female nature, and this is how you deal with it. This is how you manage it. Black pill says forget all that, So that's the difference. So I don't. Big Boss does not have a big problem with dating coaches if they are real and authentic and not con men.
I don't know about the comment thing. I think different men have different experiences with women and they have their advice. Some of the guys, I listen to some of the guys, and some of them I agree with, some of them I take bits and pieces. I've actually even turned my son. My son is 18 years old. He's at Howard University right now. Actually, he just turned 19. And, just to be aware, you just pick and choose what works for you and your personality and you go there. I'm not gonna go as strongly to call any of them con artists because I get nuggets from all of them, to be honest, and I respect everyone. I don't have to agree with everyone's opinion, but that's just me, big boss. Look, we will be getting to the chat shortly to share your comments live with Big Boss. Also, please put any questions that you may have in the chat. We will get to them as well in a moment. I got another question for you, Big Boss.
Yes,
We
sir.
both use Big Bass for our intro music.
Ah,
You
yes,
guys on
sir.
these YouTube streets, I keep singing the praises of Big Bass. He blessed my intro. He blessed your intro. Are you okay with us letting the audience hear that blessing again?
Of course, absolutely, absolutely. First of all, it's a dope song. Second of all, any promotion that we can give to Big Bass, he deserves any and all of it. So,
How did that come about? Did you tell him? Because for my intro, and we was talking before we went live, I told him I'm from Virginia. I want that clips, that Pharrell hard beat, because you were like, why you got a financial channel in such a hard beat? So how did your beat come about with Big Bass?
yeah, obviously, yeah, we had some talk behind the scenes and consultations and bounce some ideas off of him. I just said I want an Oakland Bay Area beat, and he just went with it. He told me he was pretty much gonna use like make it too short. Shout out to Too Short, Too Shortish, um, and he put a little twang of Pimp C from UGK up in there. 'Cause he told me a backstory. He said Too Short and Pimp C were very very close. And people that know Big Bad story, he was incarcerated. He was after he did
For
time with
18 years.
yeah, he did time. He actually
Eight,
did time. He did
18
time with
years.
Pimp C, and he said Pimp C used to always sing the praises of Too Short from Oakland. So that's why Big Bass said when he thought about Too Short, he thought about Pimp C. So he gave me like a Too Short beat, and then with the rap, he had the twang in it like Pimp C. So
Yeah,
I,
it's
I just
dope.
told him to run with it. I trust his judgment, and he let me hear it. I said, "Hey, A1." I gave it the big boss stamp of approval.
Yeah, I was just talking to Learn Crypto TV. I believe it was yesterday. No, it was the day
Okay.
before yesterday, and I was telling him to get with Big Bass, man. And yo, let me play that again. I love your theme, what he did for you, man.
Who the man in Oakland? That's the boss, boss, boss. Lame talk, oh man, not the boss, boss, boss. Biggity wiggity bossellini with the sauce, sauce, sauce. Travel bros catching flight.
You know what I like?
Love, love.
I like what he
Bossellini
says
up in
about
here to
you in
bust
this.
it up. Bub, bub. Talking dirty,
Yeah.
you don't like it, hit the tub. Tub, tub. TLC, keep it pop. I'm a thug, thug, thug. Real talk over here. We don't feel y'all. No. Real soft, pillow whisper. That's that
Crazy.
real talk. Woo. I don't feel y'all, dog, like you real lost. Too much imitation talking, get you peeled off. Yeah, big bossellini, leany. He shrimp linguine, guini. You never see me disappear like Houdini. Don't call me for no favors, less it's real talk. Straight up out of Oakland, that's that big boss who do the hun and the fun. That's the boss,
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 boss.
boss.
Who the man in Oakland? That's the boss, boss, boss. Lame talk, oh man.
Oh,
Not the
man.
boss, boss, boss. Biggity wiggity bossellini with the sauce, sauce, sauce.
Yeah,
I
the guy
like
is
that.
super duper talented. He came up all of that on his own with very little input from me. Just very instinctively. When we were talking, he said he does that with like pretty much everybody, you included. He'll
Yep.
go through really if he has time to go through your content and go through your channel, he can pretty much channel, your energy, your essence in the song. So he's super duper creative, underrated, and so he needs all his flowers, bells, and whistles, and needs to make $1 million himself. So shout out to Big Bass on the
Shout
beat.
out, shout out to Big Bass. And look, man, I was talking to him maybe Wednesday this week because I talked to Bass quite a bit. I literally talk to him on the phone. Sometimes FaceTime with him. And man, he played me that Tailor Made Dreams song on the side that he was working on. He had
Okay.
just finished it. Let me tell you something. Because I was watching a stream and Tailor Made Dream, which I'm a big fan of, was on with Kings and Dreams and some others. And he was like, I need that Big Bass beat. I'm going to get with Big Bass to create a new beat for me when I go to Thailand. And so I heard it, I clipped it, I sent it to Big Bass behind the scenes. Big
Uh-huh.
Bass saw it and created a beat. So when Taylor Made Dreams get that beat, woo, he made two actually. He made one playing off of that, no matter where we are.
Right.
And then he did a second contemporary Thailand beat that is nuts. Just nuts.
Wow.
So you'll hear it coming out. Maybe if you hit Bass on the side. I'm not sure if TaylorMade's heard it already. But yeah, so we need to get to the chat in a moment. But I'm gonna go personal again.
Let's go.
Telling you, big boss, we're gonna go in. So let's let's go in a little bit before we get into the travel and everything, and more about how you do it. Let's talk about you being homeless, and I think
Yeah.
this is a good message for our younger viewers, and it's just a good message. So we both, we all know you were once homeless for
Mm.
6 months living in your car. Anyone who follows you know that. So, what was that all about, and how did you overcome that? And are there any gems that you can share with our younger viewers or lessons learned from that experience?
Yeah. So how that came about is basically at the time, we're talking exactly 11 years ago because it was 2011. So yeah, it's 2022. So exactly 11 years ago, at the top of the year, basically January, because at the end of 2010, going in like the last few months of 2010, I was in the process of being evicted. And when January rolled around, I wasn't quite able to secure another spot. So I ended up living in my cars. I put everything in storage. I was still working, believe it or not. I was still working, and I was working and going to school, going to community college, taking criminal justice, criminal administration. So going to school at night, working in the day, and with nowhere to live, basically. So I basically just camped out, lived in my car. It was only supposed to be for like a month or so, like 'cause it was like January. So I was hoping around February ish to be in some place. It just never materialized. So I ended up being homeless in my cars. I had two cars at the time for like 5.5, almost 6 months. And during that time, I met other homeless people, right? And this one homeless white couple, elderly white couple that was living in their car, they got their car towed or something like that. So I actually gave them one of my cars. And so they had one of my cars. I was in the other car. And then shortly after that, my car I had got towed. So I literally slept outside for like, right? No, no, no. I literally slept outside for one night. I still remember that one night I was outside. I said, forget that. So shout out to my brother. I finally came off my pride. I went to my brother's house. I crashed at my brother's house. Not even a week, less than a week. Shout out to his wife. His wife wasn't having it, so she made sure her fingers did the walking on the internet, and she found like a men's program. It wasn't quite a homeless shelter. I think it was more so like a halfway house. If I remember correctly, we're talking like 11 years ago. It was more so of a halfway house for men coming out of the jail, the prison system, trying to readjust back into society. But they also opened themselves up to men, in financial straits or whatnot. And it helped that I was working, right? I was going to school and working. Just I literally just didn't have a place. So I moved in there. Come to find out, I end up staying there for like 3 years. Over those years, the guy who was over it, he put me in charge of the program pretty much. So I ran the program. The guys answered to me. I had my own room, my own space, and so obviously it wasn't a paid position. He knocked a little bit off, my little monthly rent contribution. Um, that's normally how it happens. Wherever I find myself, I'm normally in a leadership position, but that's where boss come in at, right? So during that time, this is around the time I was already briefly getting back into church even before this happened. And so largely through a church connection is how I ended up in my own apartment with a certain landlord that was a landlord of one of the church members or whatnot. And so over the years, you know, I transitioned out of the men's program. Since I was connected to a lot of the men or whatnot, I kept in contact with them and helped them out as I could, as I had my own place. And I just kept working. I just kept doing me. But one lesson I learned is just, this might sound generic. I don't know. Everyone looks, when you go through something like that, you have to try to find the silver lining, right? The silver lining. What lesson could I learn? How can this be avoided? How did this not happen again? What can I tell the next person? But for the life of me, I would just, in every situation, I find myself being real. I just find myself being me. Like I said, when that homeless couple, the white couple, Caucasian, when they lost their car, I gave them a whole car, just being me.
Wow.
Got my car towed. I slept outside. I didn't even go to get my car back. Right. I just slept.
Wow.
I thugged it out. You're right. And so my thing is just embrace it, be real, try to make the best decisions. Now, obviously, if I look back at it, you know, there is maybe one or two things I probably could have did like towards the end of 2010 to get me into a spot. Um, in my mind frame, I didn't think it was going to go that way, and it did. Right? The worst happened that happened. Right? And so, um, looking back at it, there is at least one or two things I could have done, changed differently. Maybe if my pride, my stubbornness, you know, got me into that situation, and then at that point, I just thugged it out, being me. And like my mom say, the Lord always has His hands on me. Even to the point like a couple years back, I said this on Richie Rich Roll the Tapes channel, where a guy here in Oakland put a gun to my head. Right, he put the gun to my face, put it in my head, kind of pistol whipped me on top of my head, said some words, and just walked off. God normally always has His hands on me, no matter what situation I find myself in. So, my thing is, and like I said, when this guy when he had me dead to rights, I looked him right in his eye and I said, "You got me. You got me." I said it 2 or 3 times. And then I saw something in his face kind of shift, and he kind of clumped me on top of my head. I'm not proud about it, with the gun, boop, and he just walked off. So my
Wow.
thing is, just be real. Just be real, and it is what it is. But what I learned that I could survive almost anything, being homeless for those few months. And shout out to people that's still homeless now. You got people that I have a video that I haven't quite put out. I recorded the footage already, like a couple of videos of homeless here in the Bay Area. The Bay Area, we're having a lot of homeless right now, for a lot of reasons. One is the housing market, the prices, stuff like that. And in the video, I'm in the editing phases now. Some of the editing, as I'm filming the homeless, I'm retelling this story, going deeper into my experience. So you have a lot of people that's homeless now. So my thing is, just to stay positive, put your best foot forward, you know, believe in a higher power, and just, do the best you can, and, just be real.
Yeah, most of us are like 1 or 2 paychecks away from that situation.
Absolutely.
And
That
even when
that was
you,
me. That was
yeah,
me. I was literally a few paychecks, and no paychecks came. They came and went. They came and
exactly.
went. I found myself living in cars.
But some of us who invest in the market, like I invest in the market, and then this market falls like crazy. People are jumping off of buildings, and people are losing their whole nest egg. And I'm telling you, Big Boss, my account went down like crazy, and I'm lucky and happy that I followed some of the discipline, strategies where you take profits. I paid off my house, my condo, and other things, but my account is just stupidly down. So, the point is it can happen to anyone. And so, for those younger viewers out there, you are a good lesson learned in how you persevere and overcome that type of situation. So, good stuff. I just wanted to share that. Hey guys, get the likes up, ring the bell, subscribe if you are getting value from this content. Moderator, drop the link to Big Boss Real Talk channel. We will be going to the chat, and please put a Q if if you have some questions for Big Boss, and let's review some of the comments here. Big Boss Real Talk on some of the things that we had to say. I think I'm gonna get blown up in the comment section after this thing post about calling the 7-day Adventists. What I
Jehovah
call
Witness.
them. I don't want to say
Yeah.
it again. I think I'm gonna get blown up. But
You know what?
let's
But
go
that's
ahead.
not the first time I heard that. That is a common misconception because I think they also worship on Saturday, I believe. So I think that's where the confusion come in at.
Okay, all right, all right, all right. So we got some people in the building. We got Felicia Jordan in the building.
Shout out to Felicia Jordan. That's my moderator. Is she your moderator also?
No, she's good though. I would love to
Yeah.
have her. She's
Hey,
she's she's legendary on these YouTube streets.
she is. She's very faithful. She's very faithful. She's the only other person that has a Big Boss hoodie. She chose a red one though. She
Oh,
has a
okay.
Big Boss hoodie.
I
So
need to buy
yeah.
one of those. You have them up on your site?
Uh, Not really. You know what? It's been a year and I have not made my merch store public. I know, craziest thing, right? So I plan to make it public because I have the t-shirts, I have hoodies, obviously mugs. There's really only one design right now. It's just my logo. And the whole thing about that, I told the guy when he designed it, I didn't really want my face as a logo. I said I wanted a generic black man. I wanted a black man with strong, black African American features. So of course the guy still basically made my face. So it is what it is. So that's why another thing I was a little self conscious. I'm like, no one really gonna really want to wear my face. That's why I just wanted a generic black man. But to make it easy for him, he just basically made me. So it is
Well,
what it is. If
you
someone want to rock it, hey, they can rock it.
well on the back of that hoodie, you could put the Dallas Cowboys football team on the back of that hoodie.
Nah, that's not gonna happen.
And
Ooh,
you see
especially
what
that.
Profe, I just put Profe's comment up, my fraternity brother.
Okay.
I expect that. I'm wearing the hoodie. Typically, I dress in business attire, but I'm wearing the hoodie and
Oh yeah, you
blessings and
with Big
support.
Boss, man. You with Big Boss, so you gotta
Yeah,
wear the
we
hoodie, man.
hooded up. We hooded up today. And the
You put
Cowboys
it in.
play in your state of California, Los Angeles Rams today. So we'll see what's up. We got many people, regulars in the chat. Welcome to in the building. We appreciate having you. What's going on, family? Big Boss. Across the bay in San Francisco, Big Boss is going back on the raw meat diet.
Yeah, at least for a little while. At least for a little while. I might try to do a week of it. Last time, a few years back, when I tried it on Richie Rich Road to Tape channel, I think back in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, I was supposed to do it for a week. That lasted for like one day, like a day and a half. But that initially, I took the few bites of like raw liver on Richie Rich Road to Tape channel. So we're gonna reenact that next week Sunday. So I figure it'd be fitting because, like I said, I'm on a fast this week. So that's how I'm gonna break my fast. My first piece of food would be raw meat on Richie Rich Road to Tape channel.
Yeah, and Miss Gems is a moderator on the channel. Hey, we're going to get back to stock analysis. This is a financial show about betting on yourself and betting in the market. I just transitioned out of management in the company that I have been working for the last 26 years. So in
Wow.
transitioning to becoming an engineer again in this new prestigious configurator role that I have that travels all over the world, maybe I'll be shooting some footage there. I've been holding back on the financial stuff and been bringing on YouTubers and travel related things because most of us who invest like to use our money for travel and pleasure things, but we'll be coming back to the financial stuff. So I appreciate that. So I'm just sharing some of the comments here. Big Boss Real Talk.
Sir.
Yeah, let's see if we have any questions in the building. Let's see. Oh, we got your boy here, QB Passport Flexing. I should say your man. I don't like to call grown men boys, to be
That's
honest.
all good. I get it. The homie.
But
The
I've
homie, my
seen.
main
I
man.
saw him last night when you was on that other channel, QB Passport Flexing. Cool. Is
Yeah.
he from Queensbridge? Where's the QB from? Is that Queensbridge? QB Passport
No,
Flexing.
quarterback. Quarterback. It's a football reference.
Quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's big Mexico. I know you're not a big Mexico person from. Yeah.
This is where me and QB disagree. He loves Mexico. He thinks it's the next frontier. I don't care for it at all. But that's the thing about travel bros. We have a big planet with 190 countries. So
Yep.
he can have Mexico. I'll take Thailand.
Yeah, and the first country I went to was Mexico. I went to Puerto Vallarta, and I'm gonna
Hmm.
tell you, man, I did not have a good time there, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was younger. I think it was around 1991 or 92 was my first like international trip.
Okay.
And I was in Puerto Vallarta, and you know how you go to ask girls to dance? The Mexican girls were running away from me, and I was with another cat from Milwaukee, and they were running away from us, and we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't speak Spanish, so we had a bad experience. But then later, when I went to Mexico, and I went down south near
Mm.
Acapulco, and Zihuatanejo, oh, brother was cut up and get love. So, it
I heard
varies
that.
depending on the person, right? It
I
really
heard that.
varies. So, hey, we got Razor Ray in the building. Razor Rays, is he from New York?
Yep, Brooklyn.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen him on your channel and stuff. Welcome in the building. I am a fan of Razor Ray. I'm also a fan of this brother too. He be speaking the real on Mexico. And then, boss, when you get the game on Mexico, please share it with me. I'd love to get that game.
I,
So
uh, well, yeah. Get the game from QB. I'm not going to have no game on Mexico. I
I'm
just
talking
said
about when you get it from QB. Yeah.
I don't plan to get no game from
I
QB.
thought
I
you were
don't
just
plan.
saying last night that QB passport Flatson, you're gonna learn from him how about Mexico and all of that.
Well, I didn't say that last night. Oh! You watched that last night. You watched that last night. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't filmed last night. Uh, yeah. I guess because I am in California and Mexico is closer than most places, but I really don't care for Mexico. That's like if and when I guess I'll reach out, but I don't care for Mexico.
You always keep it real. What is blue pill? Miss Jim asked.
Yeah. So blue pill is basically standard, regular, American, westernized society where you are still asleep. If you put it in like most of us do in the reference of the movie, the 1999 movie with Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne, The Matrix, all of those people that were asleep, they were asleep and plugged into the Matrix and unaware, they're all blue pill. So when we say blue pill in this aspect, we're saying guys who are asleep and ignorant and not aware to women or female nature. They are victims of it. They are subjected to it. They are in subservient to it. They're in a plantation. They're on the plantation of feminism, and they don't even know. They don't even know that they're slaves. Uh, Basically, yeah. To take the line out of the movie when Lawrence Fishburne told Neo, he said, "These people, they don't even know. They don't even know they're asleep. They don't even know they're slaves. So in their mind, they think it's normal, but it's not. So that's what we, right or wrong, right or wrong. Everybody has an opinion, but still, to answer your question, in the manosphere, that's how we label the majority of men in America are blue pill. They're blue pill. They're asleep. They go along to get along. They go with the culture. They go with society, and they just basically follow the lead of women and not understanding their true masculinity, and they are kings, and wake up to the awareness that you need to understand female nature and you need to move accordingly for your own best benefit.
Gotcha. Yes, it looks like
And
QB
that's real
passport
talk.
Flatson is going in on the dating coaches.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
said,
that's his thing. He has a hard on, part of my French, for dating coaches. He goes hard on dating coaches, and hey, that's his thing. He's my guy. I rock with him. I don't have to agree with everything, just like you, sir. Like
absolutely.
you don't agree everything with me. Maybe 90%.
Yep.
I agree with QB, except for when it comes to Mexico. Me and QB disagree with Mexico, and me and QB disagrees with his little war with the dating coaches. But hey, that's his thing.
Right.
Shout out to QB Passport Flexing. And I will say some dating coaches are full of it. Some dating coaches, I think are scams.
You
Some,
think
not
so?
all.
I think they come authentic. Which
You think
I don't want to
everyone?
put you on the spot and have no
Well,
beef
no,
on the
no. You
street.
think every single one is legit? All of them?
I I don't know. Maybe I'm just gullible. I just believe some of them. I mean, they want to make money, right? But I
Yeah.
believe I believe they believe in what they're saying. I don't know anyone
All
that's
of them?
like.
All
I
of them?
believe all of them believe in what they're saying. I may not agree with the philosophy of all, but I think they believe in it. And then some, I believe is believable for my life, and others, I'm like, nah, it's not for
Shout
a
out to
six
you.
foot four, 200 and some odd pound dude that never had that issue. So you know what I mean? So
Hey,
I don't know,
I hear
but
you.
QB Passport Flex, and I love that name. That name is filthy.
Right?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
filthy name. Hey, the humble manifest of riches. Hey, does Big Boss have any Bun B influences?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I actually do. I loved UGK back in the day. Pocket full of stones. I love, but out of the two, I really gravitated towards Pimp C.
Oh, you
R.I.P.
from Oakland?
Yeah, yeah, R.I.P. Pimp C. But yeah, I big UGK influence. So yeah, I love Bun B. Shout out to Bun B.
Kings and Dreams in the building. Was just on the phone with him a couple of days ago.
That's
That's
what's up.
that's a cool cat. And Kings and Dreams, I watched your stream yesterday with the ladies
The
of
nine
the
ladies.
cruise. He
Right.
had
He
like
did
all
it.
them
He did
ladies,
that.
and he said it took him like so many months to get them all together. That was pretty dope.
Woo.
Kings and Dream, he stride both sides of the fence, and not stride. I think that comes across negative, but he's a bridge, right? So he loves
Uh,
having that conversation.
well, I don't know. I would. Well, we might disagree on that because
Well, maybe I'm mischaracterizing him.
Yeah,
I'll
because
bring him up so he
Kings
can
and
talk
Dreams,
too. I love to have him
Kings
up,
and
but go
Dreams,
ahead.
Kings and Dreams is pure red pill. I mean, and so what I think what it is, see, a lot of people don't understand red pill. Red pill is not anti-women. It's not anti-female. Now you kind of get off into the black pill with that. Red pill, we love the ladies. Red pill, we can listen to women and bring women in conversation. But the difference is, red pill, we are aware, right? That's the whole thing. We wake up, we are aware of female nature, and we deal with it and we manage it a certain way. So that's all red pill is. Red pill is aware of female nature. Black pill is that's kind of like, I won't say women hate, obviously, because every man still loves women, or at least a facet of women.
I might
That
have
would
to
be
pull
more
a
black.
QB passport flatson up to get you on that.
Hey, well, you bring him up. He said himself. I mean, but
Yeah, I know
again,
he will.
but even black pill, we men still, you know, need women to respect. But it's just, I guess, how you relate. Each pill relates to women differently. Like blue pill is basically under the spell of women, right? There's We call them simps. Blue pills are simps. That's basically on the plantation, and blue pill are servient to women. Red pill, we are wide awake and we aware. We aware of the BS, and we navigate a certain way, you know what I'm saying? And we understand about female nature, and therefore we contain it to a certain way. Black pill is kind of like F everything, you
Yeah,
know. They deal with women obviously because they have to, but they deal with women a whole different way than a red pill would, which
gotcha,
is which is a lot different than a blue pill would.
gotcha, gotcha. Oh man, we're gonna get to the travel stuff in a moment. Oh man, yeah, Kings and Dreams. I didn't mean to misrepresent you. I know you're pure red pill, so
Pure red pill.
yeah. So if
He's
that came
he's
across,
Mr. Red Pill.
yeah, if that came across funny, it was not intentional. The
But I
vital
but I
message.
get it
You
though.
was on
I
the
get it
show
though
last
because
night.
I get it though because he had the 9 women on there, and normally what a lot of people tend to think, a lot of lay people tend to think, red pill is this anti-women thing. Red pill is women bashing. A lot of people think that. That's not what red pill is. Red pill is this understanding. This understanding, being aware. That's what red
Gotcha.
pill. It's called RP awareness. So yeah. But shout out to the vital message. Yeah, I was on. You keep saying last night. I guess you watched it last night.
Yeah,
But
I
I guess
watched it last night. You was on the show last night. I watched it. And I saw QB. I think QB Passport Flatson
you
came up
pulled
too.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But that was filmed. That I went on the show live on Thursday this week, a few days ago. It was on.
Oh, okay.
It was on Thursday. It was on Thursday live. You just watched it last night.
Yeah, I
Shout out
watched
to
it
you.
last night in preparation for the show.
Last
Just
night
because.
I was on Razor Ray's show. That's who show I was on last.
I
Or
need
this
to check
morning.
that
Or
out.
this morning. You're right.
Yeah, so welcome in the building, the vital message. Look at here. Just
Ja.
yeah. How do you say that?
Well, yeah, just Rosh. We just call him Just. He's also in my travel group. Shout out to you, Just, for pulling up. I shared this link in my travel group, so obviously he got it. So
Oh,
that's
great.
Just.
Welcome in the building. He says you can own a house, own a car, own a business, but on your doomsday bed, the only thing that's you're going to remember is your experiences. Travel is therapy. It's
And
real
that's
talk.
real talk. Shout out to Just.
Yep, yep. All right, so just going through the chat before we get into the travel stuff and how you navigate this travel stuff on the budget that you have is truly amazing. And I agree with this. As long as you're invested in blue chip solid investments, the stock and crypto market will rebound, reinvest those dividends. We'll be talking about that on future shows. Hey, I would like for you just to come up when I have a panel and talk. I was going back and forth with what's his name, Branjour, yesterday.
Grandeur.
Yeah,
Grandeur around the
Branjour is
world.
big
Shout
in the
out to
game, so I
Grandeur.
love to have all of you investing brothers up on the channel so we can chop it up so that these babies can see that us grown men do what we do. Hey, Kings and Dreams has a question. Do you plan on investing in any international properties in the near future, Big Boss?
Possibly. If I do, I'm eyeballing Brazil, a place to stay in Brazil. Um, that's my exit strategy is to one day eventually expat and live in Brazil. Still travel the world, especially Thailand, but to put roots down in Brazil. So if I'm gonna put roots down, I probably will try to get a piece of property in Brazil.
In Brazil.
Yeah.
Interesting. So well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's Miss
What's up?
Thumper in
Mhm.
Thailand. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Yes.
And
Okay. And what?
keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. You said property in Brazil. I thought you would get
Yeah,
property.
yeah, Brazil. Probably
But
not
I
real.
thought you were going to say Thailand like everyone else
No,
is going to do. Okay.
no,
All right.
no. That's for them. And especially in Thailand, you can't really own property if you're a foreigner per se.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, it has to be like in your wife's name. And so if I was to get married to Miss Thumper, she would own the property, right? 51%, not my 49%. So no, like I said, I'm RP aware. I'm red pill aware.
Is Miss Thumper on the marriage list for you?
No, no. Shout out to her though. Shout out to her. But who knows what can happen? But I don't have a marriage list right now. I don't even have a marriage list. So
Okay. That's real talk.
and then where I plan to live, I plan to eventually live in Brazil. So unless I bring sand to the beach, Brazil has their own Miss Thumpers.
What part of Brazil, by the way?
Oh, to live in? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I would have to say it's different expating living in the country than
Yeah.
vacationing, right? So if I was to live in Brazil, it most likely probably wouldn't be Rio de Janeiro.
I've been there 4 times to Rio de Janeiro.
Me too. It's funny. I've been there
Copacabana Beach.
I've been there 4 times also. I've been to Rio 4 times and I've been to Sao Paulo 3 times. But Brazil is a big country. So I
Yeah.
would have to do my research and find other out of the way cities to live. I would vacation in Rio like everybody else, especially when people come to town.
Yep.
I would go to Rio to hang with them. But if I was going to live there full time, I wouldn't live in Rio. So it'll be somewhere in Brazil. I have to do some research.
Good question, Kings and Dreams. Maybe we can bring you up later and you can join us in the discussion once we get to some of the other things with Big Boss. Look who's in the building, Big Bass Life.
Yay!
Just waking up, big ups.
Waking
Much
up.
love to my brothers, Big Boss, and bet out of that. Appreciate the love. You two were my first payments ever in the YouTube world. So yeah, and you know what? And talking to Baz, he always talks about highly of you, Big Boss, on when he dropped that drop for you for your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You shot him a payment. And he was just taking donations, and a lot of people didn't shoot him a payment. I did too. Time is money, and I appreciate it. And you know what? I just recently shot him another one last week. And by the way,
I need to shoot him more and more and more. It's just the way
that's
my
what I'm
bank's kind of
saying.
set up right now. But he knows it's coming. When it's
Yeah,
good
that's
for
what
Boss,
I'm saying.
it'll be good for him.
Look, I shot one, and Big Bass, I'm gonna shoot you another one when I make this next trade because I still owe you a third payment. So
Right.
yeah.
I owe him at least 3 payments at least. I only gave him one on luck. He didn't even ask for it.
I know he didn't. We just that's what real men do. I mean, and then when I was talking to Los, and I said, Los, I'm gonna send you the Big Bass, and and just do the brother right, and he was like, yo, I'm a man. I mean, time is money. I'm gonna hit him. So that's what real men do. And we promote them too, but money talks, bro.
Yeah, it does. It does. And like I say, a fair exchange ain't no robbery. The brother he does it out of love. But I would even have to say from this point forward, he might want to start charging. Because
I'm on a payment plan. But if you think you're gonna get a Big Bass beat less than a G, you better think again. Man, you had to be an early adopter, and then you could be on the payment plan. I'm not sure he's still doing the payment plan.
Right. But it's worth it. Whatever he charges, worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it, and he stay connected to you for the future. Hey, here's the vital message. I think most dating coaches are frauds. They overcomplicate simple human interactions and put guys in a despair loop that parts them from their money. Okay, all right. I can respect that.
I agree with about half of that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of them are obviously not all, but I think some of it is a scam to get money. Because I don't think all of these guys, even if guys can say the right thing, because anybody like preachers, right? Like pastors and preachers, a lot of people can say the right things verbally on the screen, but are they really living it? Just because you can repeat it and you can verbalize it, can you go out there and do what you just said? Can you go out there and pull nines and dimes just on your mouthpiece and your game and your swag alone? Or can you just turn on the camera and talk about it and then ask for money? So that's what we're talking about. So I don't believe everybody just because they talk, just because they got a YouTube channel with a camera. I don't believe everybody. So shout out to you.
Well, Big Bass Life say he got that drop. He got that drop for Kings and Dreams, and I wanted to hear it. I haven't had a chance to hear it. When Bass put out a beat, I like to hear the beats, and I'm into music, as you can see. I played music earlier. So look, guys, if you have questions or comments, we're going to be coming back to the comment section. I kind of want to spin off out of the chat and ask Big Boss some additional questions. And, I want to kind of spin the show a little bit here. And let's talk about investing and traveling and how you do this, Big Boss. So let me state an anonymous quote here.
Okay.
A man should not get married unless he has at least 7 stamps in his passport book. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's profound. Now that I've been traveling these few years, If you'd have asked me that 5, 6, 8, 9 years ago, I'd have had a different response. But that would be talking from a point of ignorance. Now that I've been traveling, I have way more than 7 stamps. I can see the wisdom in that, because you open your mind to options, and and you get to see what the world has to offer. So even when you do come back, you have a more better self-worth of yourself. You know what you're worth. You know your options. You know what you can get. You know to compare and contrast. So I think that's very good. Yeah, a man should travel and be exposed to other options before you basically limit yourself and tie down with one woman.
Do you
That
believe in marriage? Are you a guy that believe in marriage? Because a lot of brothers don't believe in marriage.
Yeah, exactly. I still
I'm
do
curious.
in the back of my mind. I still do, but I think it's fading though. It's fading almost like the dodo bird. But our society, was kind of built on it, but it just becomes more hard and more difficult, to have a good marriage. So to give it the best possible chance, you have to really vet the person and try to go for a more traditional type situation, and that's really decreasing here in the States. It's really decreasing.
But
So you
but
can
but let
you
me
might
let me
find a
let me
speed.
jump in here though, big boss, because I somebody was on. I was looking at YouTube yesterday, and someone said some. It was the Barber World guy,
Yeah, shout out to Zoe, International Zoe, Barber World.
international so Barber World. He was dropping so much game because I've been traveling since like 1991, 92 ish, and I've been traveling since I was young.
Right.
And he was saying women are women, bro. And that's
Hmm.
my experience. So he was like, don't overhype going overseas and all of this. I mean, there is some truth to that culturally, how people are raised, and so they're gonna bring culturally a different energy to a relationship. But my experience has
Hmm.
been women are women, from women I dated in Japan or Germany or UK or wherever, Canada, whatever, United States. And I found good women everywhere and bad women everywhere. But I will say, with all of that, culturally, you will find a different type of culture if you're going traditional in some of the other places that have not been westernized. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the
So,
truth. Well, both are a true statement. Women are women and men are men. Overseas, not for dating, obviously, pause, but humans are humans. I mean, so if you want to make that broad general statement, humans are humans. A man,
exactly.
a man is a man in China. A man is a man in the Middle East. So men are men, but culture is everything, man. Culture is everything. Even within the states, you take someone who was raised
In
in the
Virginia versus where I'm at in
Thank
Seattle.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Go down south. Go down south and see that culture. Or go to an Amish community where people are raised, in the Amish. Go to Utah where you have all those Mormons, where people are socialized and raised from a child, from kindergarten, from first grade to their friends, what they watch on TV. That all of that goes into the software of their brain. That's what you're dealing with. So
Yeah,
if you wanna date and marry 21st century IG thought culture, Hollywood this, fake plastic that, I mean that's the culture. So culture is everything.
it is.
People
It
are
is.
people. Men are men and women are women, but largely you're gonna marry into the culture. How she was
Exactly.
raised, how she was raised from a little girl to a full adult, how she was raised, how she was socialized.
Exactly. And that's what I subscribe to. When you go to a place internationally, you marry into the culture of that woman. And for those of us that have been in serious relationship, the women are everything, man. The children, I mean, we can do so much with the children, but the women are everything. So a guy like Richie Mack, Zoom to Thailand, being over in Thailand, that's the culture that resonates with him. So, I mean, and that fits, but that culture may not fit for another militant type brother who just needs something different. So it's really about the culture, right? So,
Oh, yeah,
but I like Thailand, bro. Thailand was good to
I
me, but
love
go
it.
ahead.
I love it. But to me, it's so overpowering. Shout out to Richie Mack, Zoom to Thailand. Shout out to Chocolate Man in Thailand and others.
Oh yeah,
I,
no, good
I
brother.
almost don't see how you can live there. It's so overpowering.
But
That place is like,
but boss, they live there because they're not doing a vacation thing. They
right,
live there and they're immersed in the culture and they're dating. What I have found is that the guys that actually live overseas, they don't do that pay for
right,
play and all
right,
of that kind of jazz. They get into the culture and they meet the people and women of the culture. And so it's a whole different, you wouldn't even be interested in that. When I travel overseas and my boys that live in Germany and UK, which don't have a lot of that stuff, but Amsterdam or what have you, they don't do that stuff. They
right.
don't because they're in the culture. So I'm sorry to cut you off, but go
No,
ahead.
no. You're exactly right. I've seen that in my travels. We talk about a time. It's a difference from an expat and a weekend traveler or a 14-day traveler. Once you live there, you're going to move different. You have to move different. Your money has to stretch and everything else. You're not on a time limit. You're not on a clock. You really can put down roots. But even then, like I would say, that's probably also with Brazil, especially because it has more, you know, Afro-centric roots. I can connect more with Brazil than I can connect with Thailand. For me, Thailand is fun. It's
Right,
like ultimate. It's like ultimate fun. It's like
right.
almost paradise on earth type fun. But to me, Thailand is like fun, and Brazil is where I can put down roots.
Gotcha. And that video you did on Walking Street, I didn't even know that exists, and I've been to Thailand.
And
That
that's
was
one.
crazy.
And that's one street. And that's one street within a city.
Insanity Playground.
Crazy. One street.
Yeah,
One
so
single street.
a whole nother level. But
You said
I
too
want
much.
my
It's too much.
younger. But
No
here's the
mas.
point. Here's the point, Big Boss. I want my younger viewers to understand this because as passport bros and traveling overseas, all of that's going to be in your face. It's not here in the United States, but when you go overseas, you're going to see pay for play. You're going to see brothers, expats over there living their life. And, you're going to see it all. So there's no need to hide it. Just understand it, be safe, and do what's best for you. You did?
That's what's
So,
up.
all right, so let's get back into the travel thing. I kind of transitioned a little bit. Let's get back to uh, let's talk about Big Boss. How can you afford to travel overseas on a security guard salary? You travel quite a bit, and you are a security guard. So that's amazing to me. I like to hear how you do that.
Well, the main way is basically it takes two security guard salaries to travel. That's the short answer. Obviously, I survived well. I survived well on one security guard salary, but to be able to travel, that takes a second income. So pretty much my second job is for travel. Um, and that's it in a nutshell. I literally worked the second job for travel. If I wasn't traveling, I wouldn't really be pressed to work the second job because I make enough. But traveling does cost. It's not free. It's not cheap. It is an expense. And even then, I travel what 3, 4 times a year, sometimes more if I can. So yeah, that's how I'm able to do it on a security officer job. So get it right. I'm not a
Okay,
security guard. I'm a security officer, and I
apologies.
work. I work two security officer jobs. The second job is how I'm able to travel as much as I am.
That's cool, and apologies for the slip up.
Oh no, it's all good, man. I just give you a
Yeah,
hard time.
yeah. Well, no, you weren't, and you have corrected me before, and it's all love. You come from a good place, bro, and you keep it 1,000. So I love that. So I was gonna ask you what's the secret, but I think you understand. I think we just got the secret of how you do it.
Yeah, yeah. It's not.
Right
It's
there.
not complex. It's not. It's not some arcane mystery. Work 2 jobs. Work 3 jobs if you have to.
Is it worth it though? We all know it is. So I'm not going to ask a
Uh,
rhetorical question,
yeah,
but
you see the footage. You see the
yeah, I
footage.
seen the
It's
footage,
real.
man. If you want to see some explicit, crazy footage that most of us would not put on YouTube and live in a heathen life, who plans to go back to the church,
Yes, sir.
check out Big Boss Real Talk. When you want
You
that
can't
type of
make this up.
entertainment, he's gonna beat it up. He's gonna come 1,000. But look, what's your strategy for getting time off of work? Because you're like I work a 9 to 5. So how do you get that time off of work? Because you travel a couple of times a year, and
Yeah,
you go over for a significant amount of time, like a few weeks. So how do you do that?
yeah, yeah. And navigate with 2 jobs. It's hard enough trying to get time off from one job. Think about trying to get time off synchronized with 2 jobs multiple times a year. Well, the main way is number one, I'm a good worker, right? I'm a good worker, so they value me. Number one, you got to provide value. Number two, I mean what I say. I don't really ask, I tell them. I said, I need to be off from this time to this time. Thank you very much. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. And it goes back to me being a good worker, right? So like if you were an elite athlete, you can negotiate a better contract than some rookie, right out of college, right? So they know they know they have a Jordan on their team. They know they have a LeBron James on their team. So when I tell them this is what I need, okay, sir, thank you.
Oh wow. Wow. Yeah. That's real talk, my brother.
Yeah, you just have to be upfront. See, you just have to be upfront. You have to be upfront. You have to be direct. Again, I'm real in everything I do. I'm just real.
Yep. Yep. That helps.
And if they didn't like it, then I have the option because I'm very good at what I'm do and I'm highly sought after. Then I can just it's nothing for me to go to their competition. So I'm going to put myself in a situation that's beneficial for me. I tell them up front, any job or whatever I take on, I say I'm a traveler, I'm an avid traveler. And this is before I was YouTubing. I'm an avid traveler. This is what I require. So I get that kind of upfront, almost like in the negotiations, like
That's
NBA,
the
like the
secret.
NBA or NFL negotiation. I
That's the
get that
secret.
almost in writing up front. Hey, this is what I do. So when I
That's a
ask
gem.
you when I
That's a
ask you in a
gem.
few months, it well not really ask you, but I say ask, but in my mind I'm telling. When I ask you in a few months, this is what I expect. Oh, no problem, no problem. We can do that. And then if they don't, I'll bring them up. I say, hey, remember what I said? And this is what it is. And so the beautiful thing too about uh California, we have so many laws, maybe a little too many laws, labor laws, is guess what? Personal time off for my sanity, for my health. I need time off. You know, I carry a weapon. I carry a gun. You don't want a guy with a gun walking around, stressed out. So if I say I need time off, I need time off.
But
I
but
I
but
carry a firearm. I carry a
yeah.
firearm, and I'm telling you, I need time off.
But let me ask you this. You put some explicit stuff on YouTube.
Okay.
How do you deal with that with your employer? It doesn't matter because I don't think I could put that type of explicit content and be an engineer at my company. So, how do you navigate that?
Well, I guess it goes back to what you called me a security guard. Because I'm a security
Sorry,
guard,
man. Sorry.
I guess it doesn't matter, right?
Uh,
um, so, yeah. So for the most part, it is what it is. As long as it doesn't really reflect back on the company or have anything to do with the company itself or whatnot. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
okay.
you asked me that question. I really don't know how to answer it because it just is what it is. I'm just real. I do what I
Right.
do. You're
Right.
gonna deal with it or you're not. But
Right.
I'm still gonna be me.
Right.
I come to work. I do what I'm supposed to do at work, and this is what I'm doing off of work. I'm not mixing the two. So it is what it is. How they feel about it is how they feel about it. So
Yep. Well, and that's important, brother. Super, super important. So, hey, man, I love what you're sharing here. Hey, guys, get the lights up, ring the bell, and subscribe. If you're getting value from this content, moderator, drop the link to Big Boss Real Talk in the chat. We're going to be going to the chat shortly. I have another questions. We're going to be taking questions live for you, Big Boss Real Talk, as well as sharing comments if people have comments. So we'll be going back in a moment. We're live here on YouTube. Let me ask a couple of more questions before I go back to the chat. I may even drop the link and have some of the brothers come up and have an interesting conversation here. So, when did you start traveling overseas, and what countries have you been to so far? And kind of what is your favorite countries and why?
Okay. So I started traveling overseas, believe it or not, recently, only 4 years ago in 2018. I got my passport in 2018. Early 20, I think February, Marches, I got the passport and I sat on it for months and months. And I took my first trip on my birthday in October because my birthday is Halloween, believe it or not. Yeah, I'm a Halloween baby. So for Halloween 2018, I went to Dominican Republic, the city of Sasua. That was my first trip. And since then, I've been back to the Dominican Republic 3 or 4 times. And since then, from the Dominican Republic, I did Colombia, Medellin. And after Colombia, Medellin, I did Colombia, Bogota. And then I did Thailand, believe it or not. I did Thailand before Brazil. And so those are basically the 4 countries I went to. Each country I've been to at least 3 to 4 times. Dominican Republic, Colombia, Thailand, and Brazil. And I've been to those 4 countries for the last 4 years. And each country I went 3 or 4 times. My top two is a tie between Thailand and Brazil for different reasons. Thailand is probably the most fun, the most extreme, crazy experience fun. But again, like to me, and I know it'd be different if I was an expat. I get it. If you expat, you turn it down a notch or two. I get it. But Thailand is almost too overpowering. I get it when you expat, you turn it down. But Thailand is too overpowering. And Brazil speaks to me. I would say Brazil is almost like, and I haven't been to Africa yet. That's on a bucket list to go to Africa, especially Egypt, South Africa. But outside of Africa, that I haven't been to yet, Brazil to me is like a South America, Africa. Brazil has more black people than America. More, not
Yeah.
the same. More,
Yep.
and obviously Brazil has less population than America, right? America has a bigger total population, more people in America, but Brazil has more black people than African Americans.
Yeah,
So it,
Salvador Bahia. But go ahead.
especially in southern Brazil, Bahia. Brazil has a lot of Afro, black, melanated people because a lot of the slave ships went to Brazil. So when I'm in Brazil, Brazil is real and it rhymes. Brazil is real and I have that feel in Brazil. I feel more connected to Brazil than I go to Thailand. Shout out to Thailand. I have fun, but I don't feel connected to them. In another sense, I do, but we're going to keep it clean PG. But in Brazil, I feel more connection in Brazil than Thailand. Thailand is just a place to have fun. It's one big Disneyland for men. So Thailand is for fun, but I want to put down roots in Brazil. So those are my two. Colombia serves a purpose. I don't care for Medellin, Colombia. I do like Bogota, Colombia. I haven't been to Cartagena on the coast, the very touristy part of Colombia, Cali, Barranquilla, Cartagena. I do plan to go to Cartagena, Colombia to experience it. And the Dominican Republic, it serves a purpose, but to me, Dominican Republic is a little too close to America. Dominican Republic is almost turning into like a Miami 2.0, right? Which is one of the problems I think with Mexico. Mexico is literally too close to America. And I think the closer you are to America, the more Americanized it is. The farther away you are, the better it is. So hence Thailand on the other side of the world, right? Versus DR, which is like 90 minutes from Florida. So I believe the Dominican Republic has become too Americanized. Maybe part of that is because of YouTube. It's been overly televised on YouTube. After this 2020 pandemic shutdown, people were locked down for a while, and people started traveling again. A lot of people flooded to the DR, Dominican Republic, and they kind of changed the landscape. So
Yeah.
for a guy like me, Dominican Republic in 2022 is not the same as it was in 2018. So I
Yeah.
really don't care for Dominican Republic. Colombia, I don't care for Medellin, but I like
Yeah,
Bogota.
why don't you care for Medellin? I'm curious because I hear everyone and their mother talk about
Oh, they
Medellin. I hear
love it.
Kings and Dreams, you know,
They love it.
Medi.
They
That's the
love
first
it.
time
They
I've
love
ever heard
Medi.
that term Medi from him. So what's
Mm-hmm.
bad about Medellin? I've never been there. So
Right.
what's bad about that? I know Los is in Bogota. So
Yeah. I like
what's
Bogota. So me and Carlos are the same on that. I like Bogota.
so what's the
I haven't been
difference? What's the
Cartagena, but
difference?
Medellin, I don't care for Medellin at
What's the
all.
difference? Can you explain?
The difference from Bogota and Medellin.
Yeah, and from your perspective, because everyone have their own experiences,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So from
Oh
your
yeah.
perspective,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So what is
I
the
have
differences for you?
I have the minority report because everybody and their mama love Medellin. They call it Medi. I even phrased something a couple years back. They think Medellin is the best thing since sliced ice cream. But for boss, I do not like it at all. I do not care
I
for it.
gotta get that one.
Yeah. You know. And you know what? And that's why I went, right? That's why I went
But
on
what did you not like about it, Big Boss?
Yeah, that's why I went. They talk it up so much.
Yeah, but what did you not like about it? Get to the point.
And you know, maybe that didn't help either. When you have high expectations, maybe that didn't help. When you have high expectations and the reality doesn't live up to it, they talked up Medellin so much. I went. I said, "This is it." You
But
guys
what
are
did not
crazy
live
over
up to what? Can you answer what didn't live up to what? And by the way, why don't you like Mexico either?
there. Yeah. Yeah. So like shout out to Vita Message. When I was on the Vita Message show, I said Medellin and Mexico, they fighting for last place in the dumpster.
Get to
They're
the point, my friend. Tell us why.
Why? Okay, well, like I say, on your channel, so you're asking me stuff.
Well,
but
say
you
it in a
also
PG. Say it
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
PG format.
You also asked me to say it in the PG way. So
Yeah,
you
say it in the
you
PG
asking
way.
me questions in the PG way. And so that's kind of why I don't care for it. It doesn't stack up to some of the other places I go to. One thing about Medellin, I don't care for the weather, but then Bogota got bad weather too. I don't care for the weather in Medellin. The interactions with the ladies, I don't really care for.
What? In Medellin?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow,
Absolutely.
the brothers just talk about Medellin.
I know.
Like,
They do. They talk about it like it's heaven on earth.
Well,
That's why
shoot.
I went.
man, your
That's why
boy
I went.
Kings and Dreams, he bought him a apartment there, or a condo.
Yeah, but you know, shout out to Kings and Dreams. Like the way he's doing Medellin is the way I plan to do in the future. Brazil, to set up roots. So I guess when you live somewhere, you move differently. You know, shout out to him. I don't want to tell his business, but you know, he basically vetting. He's in the process of vetting. You know, a wife in the near future. You know, he's in that mind frame for a wife and all this old kind of stuff. And so, yeah, but nah.
All
Like
right.
I say,
I think I read between the lines. I think I read between the lines why you do not
Exactly.
like Medellin.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And Mexico.
Sometimes, sir, you can't have your cake. You cannot have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah,
You're gonna
and
have to. You're gonna have to decide what you want.
and this is a professional channel, and Dallas Cowboys is America's team and playing today. So, yeah, I get it. I
They
like
in the
that real
dumpster
talk.
too. They in the dumpster with Mexico and Medellin fighting in the bottom of the
I'm
dumpster.
used to that, my friend. I'm totally used to that. But yeah, I wanted to get that. I just didn't completely understand that. Maybe we can have Kings and Dreams come up a little later and talk for himself. We're going to go to the chat in a moment and get their responses. So let's just get back on topic here about traveling.
Okay.
I know when you travel, you talked about having two security jobs,
Right.
officer jobs to kind of pay for your travel. I'm
Yes,
sure
sir.
having a YouTube channel helps as well with the write-offs and stuff. Can you
Oh,
talk about that? Do you write stuff off, and do you recommend for younger viewers to offset some of those expenses, get a YouTube channel and do it that way as well?
absolutely. Well, like I say, I plan to do that. I just made 1 year. I've been monetized for majority this year. So come tax time, tax season coming up, I'll do it. So what I'm saying is I haven't quite done it yet because
Really?
this time last year, I wasn't. Well,
Ah,
technically I was, and
but
I
you don't
could
you
have.
don't have to be monetized to write things off, my brother.
Right, right, right. But no, I didn't. I didn't have a channel. Well, technically I did have a channel
Yeah, you
last
did
tax.
have a channel.
I did have a channel.
You
Yeah.
just didn't
Well,
write it off.
I didn't write it off. I plan to this year though.
You better.
I plan
You,
to this year.
yeah.
I plan to this year. So yeah, absolutely. And any tax benefit write off, yeah, absolutely take advantage of it. To be honest, I didn't this year, but I plan to next tax season. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, let's get back. Speaking on your YouTube channel, it is super explicit and off the chain. For those who
Hmm.
did not see the opening, I showed Miss Thumper. I may show it again actually. Um, you take content honesty to another level. What should our younger viewers know about building a successful YouTube channel if they want to follow your footsteps on the explicit side of the game?
Okay. I guess because when I think of explicit, it's only so far you can really go on YouTube. So I
Oh,
guess you could say
you go there, my friend.
I go there. You say I
Oh,
push.
oh,
I
you do
push
you
the
want me to
limit,
play
huh?
that opening again with Miss Thumper? You
Yeah,
don't
go ahead.
you
Go
don't
ahead.
you don't think this is explicit? Wait a minute.
Come to Pattaya.
Why many people come to Thailand, man?
You know what going on in here.
What going on in Thailand?
Everywhere
It's just a place for travel,
Yeah.
for food,
For have
for
fun.
music, for fun. Why everybody come to Thailand?
You know
To
what?
Pattaya,
Every woman, this go, the beach go, everywhere.
the beach girl, the disco, every woman.
Yes.
People come for women.
Yes.
Why they
Same
come?
like you come for women.
Same like me.
He talked to the three girl today.
Oh,
the
what?
beach girl. Three girl, the first girl shot 1,000.
1,000,
Second girl shot 800.
800,
And the third girl shot 900.
900.
And I where your room? Let's go to your room.
Let's go. Wow. Wow. Y'all hear that?
I said, do it. 800. Just he really like bossy life, the girl. He said she very cute and sexy. I like, do it. Let's go. Take her go to your room. You believe I tell the truth.
You tell the truth,
Yes.
and that's real talk.
Yes, real talk for me right now.
Oh, she said real talk.
That's not
That's
explicit,
real
my
talk.
friend.
I guess because it's conversation. When I think of explicit, I think of visual, like showing it. Like you can almost say any. Well, not on your channel, obviously. You almost can say anything, but you're not showing it. So when I think of explicit, I think of like that. No, I just think it's real. But I would say, whatever you do, with advice to any YouTuber, just be authentic. Don't try to be something you're not because it's working for the next person. Do you? YouTube. That's why it's called YouTube. It's not called Me Tube or They Tube. It's called YouTube. Be you. Embrace yourself. Because it's going to be the human connection, the authenticity that's going to connect with your viewers.
Right.
Whatever I do, whatever I'm doing, I'm just real. I'm just real. I'm just raw with it. Whether I'm in a church setting or I'm in the world or wherever I'm at, I'm just real with it. So I don't know, but even then, well, see, that's why I also made the Smoke channel. that could probably, to me, I might consider my smoke channel explicit, and I made that to put my real negative, toxic content on that channel to keep the real talk channel clean. In my opinion, to
You
me,
call
even
that
that.
clean? Your smoke channel is over the top, but go ahead.
Oh wow! You say the real talk channel is explicit, and the smoke channel is over the top, off the Richter.
Absolutely. But look, brother, you got professional guys like myself who internally have those feelings, and we look at a brother like you to, manifest those feelings. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead. I cut you
Hey,
off.
I guess I'm your spirit animal. It's all good,
Ooh.
like I say, men are the same all over the world. Women are the same all over the world, and we all have these feelings and sentiments, whatnot. Some people just express them. Some people can. Some people have the type of jobs and connections where they really can't, show that. But fortunately for me, I don't have those restrictions, so I can pretty much just let loose, and I think that's one of my appeals. Guys who can feel with me and rock with me, and connect on a certain level. I can channel what a lot of guys are feeling, and I can just put it on the screen.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the gems, right, that you just dropped, and that is you got to know the kind of position, job you have. You can't just go out on these YouTube streets and just do what everyone does. You got to stay in your lane, and you have to look at the whole value stream and the whole picture. If I were to do stuff like that, because of the clause that we have to sign at our company every year, they would it wouldn't go well. So
And
that was a
you
nice
have
job.
I guess a few weeks back, about a month ago, it was kind of viral at the time. A young lady who was a therapist. I guess he was a clinical psychologist, or she was a therapist, and she would make TikTok videos and I think YouTube videos, but she would just like say the most craziest, wild, vile stuff, and it cost her her job, because the nature of her job. Here she's supposed to be over people's mental health, helping them, through mental health, by her being a therapist, and she's just saying the most craziest, outlandish stuff. So some things kind of don't go together, right? Some things kind of don't go together.
Yeah.
Me, me being a big bad armed security officer, also being a traveler that's loud and boisterous and busted up, kind of don't not go together. It just is what it is.
So
I
that's
mean,
cool, man. That was a gem. Before we go to the chat, I'm gonna go to the chat after this question, and that is: do you have any other investments to help you generate income? Do you have any stocks or crypto picks? Are you in the stock market at all, like myself, like Branjour, like the other gentleman that was in the chat a moment ago?
yeah, Just and Crypto King.
Just
Yeah,
and
sadly,
Los
no.
and all of
And
those
that's
guys.
that's one of my regrets, that I didn't get off into investing. So going forward, I'm in the research stage, and I am open to it now. But that is one of my regrets. I never got off into investing like that. So to answer your question, no, it's
We
a
need to
simple no.
get you there, brother. You keep looking at these YouTube streets, and whatever connects with you. Different content creators or different mentors connect with people differently. But certainly, if you need anything from me, I've been in the game for some 30 years, and
Woo,
others. There's some good content on YouTube, and literally, I can go on these YouTube streets and say I've made millions. So
that's
it's
what's
real
up.
talk, and I've lost some money recently too in the
Mm,
account balance. But the point is that the information is there for those who want it,
okay.
and it's worth the effort. And I'm a strong
Mm,
believer that you should manage your own money if you're capable. Some people just do not have a financial propensity. They just,
mm,
I don't know. But if you have any inkling of financial knowledge, you should look into at least learning it. So if even if you go to a financial advisor, he or she, you kind of understand what's going on with your money. So but I'm a big
Absolutely.
proponent of that. And this is
Absolutely.
a good time for the market, my good brother. The market is down, discounted. Rest of us are flying coach now. I used to fly first class and all of that. I'm flying coach now, just trying to save money to get in the market to buy more stocks and stuff.
Mm.
So it's a good time to get in the market. I say in January, the market's going to continue to go down, but it's a good time to get in the market for those who are interested over the long term. So,
Absolutely.
all right.
Thank
Yep.
you.
So,
Thank you for that.
yeah, I'm sorry. I went off on a rant for a second here. Hey, get the likes up, ring the bell, and subscribe if you're getting value from this content. Moderators, always drop the link to those that are providing feedback in the chat. I am about to go to the chat and see what's going on up in there. And let's go back to the chat. Let's see. Big Boss Real Talk. We're gonna go back and it looked like Miss Jam
Dreams.
dropped the link for Kings and Dreams for his channel. And look who we got in the building. Zoom to Thailand. Richie Mack.
Hey,
I'm
shout
a
out to
fade.
Ricky Mack. Zoom tribe.
Good guy. Good guy was on the show. You know, his show was our best show for Bet Out of That. I think did over 14K views.
I believe
So,
it. I
that's
believe
pretty
it.
good. That's pretty good for my channel. My channel is small. So so just dropping the link to those in the chat. And yeah, let's keep going here. See if we have any comments or feedback for Big Boss Real Talk. So let's see what's up.
From Oakland, California.
Hey man, here's a guy, the casual economist. I only date women with clear red flags. Doesn't matter where I travel.
Doesn't matter.
Did you get that one?
I believe so. I believe it's kind of a trollish comment, not in a bad
okay.
way, but kind of a humorous trollish. That basically he's saying he likes all the bad women. He likes the women that he shouldn't like. I
The
only
casual
date women with red
economist.
flags.
Yes.
Right.
Hey, appreciate the comment and welcome back, Casual Economist. I haven't seen you in a moment, and we will be going back to those financial shows in the near future. We got Profe. Drop the link for Profe. Raise a Raise. I'm a admirer from afar. I've seen him on your channel. New York is my favorite. You know, New York City is my favorite city in the United States. So,
Wow.
yeah, I go to New York every year, August. Typically, I'm not gonna say which week because someone may try to come up in the crib. But I go every August. I go to New York and I stay right in Times Square between 7th and 8th Avenue, right off of 41st. So I love New York. I like going to Harlem. Love going to Sylvia's. 125th Street to do some shopping. For those from New York, you know what kind of shopping is on 125th Street with the
High
apparel.
end, right? Isn't that high end?
No, it's not high end. It's kind of
It's
like shopping
okay.
in Thailand in the United States of America.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
on 125th, the brothers and
Maybe I
sisters
need
be
to go out
getting
there.
it in.
Now you talking my language.
Oh yeah, they be getting it in, man. And then also Amy Roos on 116th, soul food joint. If you want some good soul food, I know Sylvia's is known, but go to Amy Roos on 116th, right off of Malcolm X there in Harlem. So shout out to you. Got the Zoom to Thailand with another comment. Mr. Jimmy, the grass is
shout out.
not always greener on the other side.
So shout out to Mr. Jimmy. This guy right here, he's a lifelong friend. I've been knowing him for maybe 35, 40 years. Back in the day, I used to be an MC rapper. Yes, I was.
You?
Yeah, I thought you knew. Well, maybe you
I
don't
didn't know that. Go ahead.
Most of my subscribers know that. Yeah, I was a rapper back when about 30-something years ago. I put out an EP tape here in Oakland. I did shows. I was on a local radio station. This guy right here was actually my DJ. DJ Jimmy Jam Master. So we kept in contact. And yeah, so I've been friends with this guy over 30 years.
That's
I,
real talk.
we did my first project. I think I was like 19, 20 years old in the studio. He had a studio in his house back then. And yeah, so shout out to Mr. Jimmy. I'm trying to get him to come on my show, man. And he really has secrets on Big Boss back when I was 19 and 20. The
Oh
crazy
wow.
Big Boss back when I was a young rapper in Oakland. So shout out to Mr. Jimmy.
Hey, Kings and Dreams is providing a question. Any plans for international business ventures outside of owning properties?
No, not at this time. International business venture.
Business. Yeah, international business venture, like doing something in Brazil or Thailand or something, not in the United States. Everyone knows that. I do the business thing
Yeah.
over here. What about yourself? You do
I mean,
business over here?
for the most part, I guess like yes, something that would be targeting American tourists when they come. You got a trip. A lot of these countries you go to, no offense, a lot of the locals don't have a lot of money like that. So it's almost like, I almost look like you're almost hustling backwards. You go to like a third world country and set up a business in a third world country, unless that business is catering to other Americans that come out, like a restaurant or something like that. But no, I leave that to the younger guys and the guys that's really financially minded. That when I go, I want to simplify life. I'm not going to start a brand new business off the ground and try to put in blood, sweat, and tears and investments and try to build it and get into the black and all that. No, I'm going to relax. I'm not going to stress myself out to build a business. So shout out to the people that has the business mind to do that, but nah, maybe outside of, and even then, right? Outside of owning some rental property, but I would try to rent to Americans, not to locals. I'm not trying to get paid in pesos, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I want to
you
get paid
sound like the
USD.
general. You sound like the general of Tailor-Made Dreams. He always taught that type of, I'm here to relax, young blood. I
Exactly.
like the way he
But
said young blood.
I get it. A young guy's game, a young bull. Hey, I love that spirit. I love that energy. If you have it in you to do that, hey, knock yourself out. Ball till you fall. I'm trying to relax. I'm not trying to go to these other countries to start up some business to try to get a business off the ground in a foreign country. No, I'm
Yeah,
going to
and we're middle aged too. We're middle aged
right,
guys. So
right.
hey,
So shout out
real
to them.
quick, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, Brazil.
Do you plan to relocate? Oh, you plan in the next 5 to 10 years?
10, yeah, by 10, absolutely.
By 10 year
Five,
will.
five is pushing it. Hey, if I can do it in 5, more power to me. But yeah, definitely by 10 years, absolutely.
You need to be start scouting, my friend, in the near future for
Yeah,
that right
exactly.
location.
I'm already, yeah, I have somebody. Shout out to Jordan, C. Jordan. He's in the last few legs, steps to becoming a Brazilian citizen. So he's giving me a lot of game, behind the scenes, kind of paving the way for me. So that's pretty much whose game plan I'm going to follow. C. Jordan. He's been on my channel a couple. He's not a YouTuber, but he's been on my panel a couple of times because he's an avid traveler. He went
Mm,
to Africa. He stayed 3 months in Africa, and those
wow.
three months he went to like 3 different countries in Africa. And each time he would go to a new country, he'll come on my channel and talk about it. So, but he's a big Brazil guy. He's almost a Brazilian citizen. So that's whose path I plan to follow.
Okay. Yeah, it looked like C. Jordan had another comment. It
Oh,
all
there we go.
depends on.
I didn't even know he was in the chat. Shout
Oh
out to
yeah,
Jordan. There you go.
yeah. He was. I've been flashing him up on the screen. It
Oh,
all
I, I
depends.
I haven't even been paying attention like that.
Oh
That's
man,
what's
you
good.
just been going in. That's good. So, C. Jordan comment is it all depends on the mission statement of a job. You can't get in trouble with work if it's not mentioned in the mission statement. I
Mm,
disagree with that.
okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say the mission statement, but I know the company that I work at, and I've been working there for 26 years. And I used to be a manager for 13 years. I just got out of management, like I was saying earlier, in June. We yearly sign a code of conduct that if we do anything to embarrass the company, then we can be terminated. So I really, and I'm not sure that's in the mission statement, but
That's what I would think.
I do
That's
know
literally
that,
what I would think. That they put it up front. Their mission
yeah. So
statement, their culture, their rule, the company
yeah,
culture, the company rules. This is what we want to live by. This is our appearance, how we want to be. I would think that falls under. That's their
okay.
overall
But
mission
then I
statement.
don't disagree with my esteemed chat master here, C. Jordan. Yeah. So I mean, some companies do that. Maybe more the tech engineering companies.
Right.
Maybe because a lot of the tech guys are kind of different. We kind of move to a different
Then,
beat.
yeah, but then I also would think like what you're talking about. Like you say that my channel is explicit.
It
Like
is.
so, okay. So I would think
Do
like
I need to
what
play it again? I think the chat would say don't do it, but I can
don't
play
do
it
it.
again. You don't think that's explicit?
Hey, maybe my filter is maybe off or whatever, but no,
Man, you're talking pay for play prices and all of this stuff, dude.
yeah. How is that like? I don't know. It's like
Okay.
it
All
has
right.
nothing to do with my job. It has nothing to do with my job.
All
Nothing to
right.
do with my job.
Let's keep it moving.
Okay.
How about Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic? I think you talked about that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know about Puerto Rico. I haven't been, and from what I hear, I don't plan to go. That's not even on a bucket list. I mean, that's literally America, right? They're trying to make it a 51st state, or past Guam and Puerto Rico. So I just said, Dominican Republic is already Americanized enough, and Dominican Republic is not an American territory. So I'm
Yep.
not really big on going to other American territories. Maybe outside of Hawaii because it's Hawaii. But when I travel, I'm trying to get out of Americaism.
Yeah, and see, Jordan is saying check out
Fortaleza.
Fortaleza. Have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
blacks, I guess, in Brazil. Check out
Mm-hmm.
Victoria
Mm-hmm.
in the
In the
valleys.
valleys. Yeah, he's my go-to guy for Brazil, man. I trust his judgment. Over these last couple of years, he's been moving all about. I mean, shout out to C. Jordan, man. He stays in Brazil as long as he can until he becomes a citizen. I think you can stay 6 months at a time, and he will make sure every year he stays 6 months till they kick him out. And so that's why he's pushing so hard to be a citizen so he can stay there full time. So during those 6 months, he go all around Brazil. So if
Mm.
anybody know Brazil, C. Jordan does.
Yeah, Kings and Dreams are going in on you, man. He said Big Boss went to Meta during the winter, so the weather is terrible. But you're saying it's more than the weather.
Oh, it's way
Kings and
more than the
Dreams.
weather because
He said the
Bogota,
talent was talentless.
yeah. Because almost every time I go to Bogota, it seems like I have bad timing. When I go to I go to Colombia, period, during the winter. When I go to Bogota, it's during the winter, and I like Bogota, so it's not just the winter. Hell, a lot of times, half of my 4 trips, or maybe 3 of my 4 trips to Brazil, I always hit Brazil in the rainy season. I'm rained out half my trip, and it's still lit. Brazil is still lit even in the rainy season. So it's not just the weather. I don't travel for weather. I travel for women. So it's the talent.
Okay, I hear you, my brother. I'm just wrapping up the comments. Okay, all right.
The weather is a
Man,
bonus, though. The weather is a bonus, but
well, I'll tell you what. Let's start winding things down, Big Boss. Real talk. Um, let's kind of get into another segment here. So can I quote another anonymous quote, and I'm gonna go somewhere here. And this quote says, "Sometimes when you want to build a better world, you have to tear down the old one." What's your
mm,
thoughts on that?
that's that's deep. That's deep. If you want to build a better,
If
yeah,
you
that's deep. I'm very big on foundation. So my natural inclination, if you want to build better, you need a strong foundation. So all about this tearing down. but I can get with the sentiment. I can get with the sentiment because that denotes that you want a difference. You want a 180 difference. You said if you had a bad world, then you don't want to build on top of a bad world, right? You want to completely get rid of that one. But once you start to build your new world, you you still need a foundation. You need baby steps. You need a foundation. You need pillars. And once you build your foundation, you can build from on top of that. Um, Interesting enough, one of my very first sermons back when I was preaching was check your foundation. So that's still instilled in me. Everything is a foundation. You need a firm, solid foundation to build on. But like you say, going to that quote, if you want a better world, then I guess you get totally rid of that other world. And when you start your new world, you still need a foundation. So I can get jiggy with that quote.
Okay. All right. So let's go here. Let's go to Donald Trump.
Yes, sir. Shout
So,
out to 45.
So
Trump
why would I bring
2024.
up Donald Trump here on the show? And again, this is for the younger viewers, just that so that people can recognize we're not monolithic. We all have different views, but we can get along. I think the chat may go in on us on this one or go in on you because I'm not a big Donald Trump
I'm
fan.
used to it.
But
I'm
you're
used to
Donald
it.
Trump. How can you be a security officer, a black man in America, and all of that narrative, and
Mhm.
be a Donald Trump supporter, and even wear a mega hat? You was looking for your mega hat off
Yeah,
camera
yeah,
before
it's
we
just over
started
there.
the show.
It's the old mega hat. If I had a new one, I would sport it. It's old and beat up. I had that mega hat back in 2016, I think.
Where did that
So
come from, boss? I mean, where did that come from for your followers that want to get to know you better? I
right.
mean, I don't know where it
Well,
came from. So
I would say from the same exact vein from Reverend Jesse Jackson, from Al Sharpton, from the rappers like P Diddy, the rappers like Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent. Uh, you know, I would say from that to now. Only difference is I didn't change like they did, right? Back in the day, Jesse Jackson gave Donald Trump a civil rights award, right? He was honored with Rosa Parks. Donald Trump was honored with Rosa Parks, right? He was honored for hiring a lot of black folks. Back in the day, all the rappers wanted to be around Donald Trump.
I had to pass some
Okay,
fun with you. Go ahead.
you playing a hell no, and that's literally a fact. Donald Trump was honored with Rosa Parks, the civil rights, by Jesse Jackson of all people. So
Please send me that source, please, so we can have a mature
yeah, I
discussion
mean,
on YouTube.
you can share your screen right now and Google it. You can literally right now in real
Oh, that's
time.
a good point. I don't. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll do it
No,
after
no.
the show. I don't
So
want to break up
Tyree,
the show.
you
Go
can
ahead.
literally share the screen right now. You can type it in Google right now in real time while we're talking. So it comes from that. The only difference is I didn't change when it became politically convenient. When the Democrats demonized Donald Trump, a lot of the black base followed suit. So he used to be cool. He used to be cool with Jesse Jackson. He used to be cool with Al Sharpton. He used to be cool with civil rights movement. He used to be cool hiring black folk. He used to be cool with all the rappers and hip hop. But soon as Hillary Clinton and the Democrats turn on him, all of a sudden a lot of black folks also turn on him.
Well, wait a
So
minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What about all of those reports from the '70s about Donald Trump discriminating against blacks and all of that stuff?
yeah, I heard that too.
As
I
far
heard
as his
that.
apartment rentals and all of that, and discriminating against
Yeah.
blacks.
With a lot of that I heard with the apartment rentals. Largely, that was his father. That was his father's business. When they were discriminating, then I heard stories that he said he didn't like black people counting his money at the casinos. I mean, we hear all kind of stories, but then on top of hearing stories, we see him hiring black people. We hear stories, but we see him literally being honored by Jesse Jackson for civil rights with Rosa Parks. We hear stories, but then we also see the same rappers all hanging with Donald Trump. So you hear story. Hell, this story's about a lot of people. People have stories about me. So we hear stories, but then we see in real life. We hear stories, but when he was in for those 4 years, we see how the economy was and see how gas prices are now. So you hear all kind of stories, but the real is the real, and real recognize real.
But let me say this. So some would say that the Democrats and the Republicans are on the same team. They're playing the same game. They're just on both sides of the argument, if you will. So I know a lot out there, a lot of people out there, at least black people, um, they're not going with either party, either party, I should say. So how do you feel comfortable, just raising the flag for a particular party versus, saying both are playing ball against us?
Right. Well, largely that's why I largely consider myself. Obviously, I'm a conservative, so I lean heavily on the Republican side, but I stopped short of calling myself a card carrying Republican. I am
Okay.
conservative because there's a lot of BS on both sides, but I largely believe that the Democrat Party is more so an international party. They're not. They really don't have America's interests at heart, where the Republican Party do. And I believe the most worst parts of the Republican Party are those that lean left. It really comes down to left and right more than Republican Democrat. Leftism. Leftism, when you get to communism, when you get to socialism, when you get to globalism, a globalized world, versus, America first, Americanism, nationalism, you know. And that's why even you have a lot of Republicans that were against Trump, right? He was an outsider. What they had? Never Trumpers, the Never Trumpers, or the Rhinos. Rhino mean Republican in name only. Every time they're Republicans, but every time it comes down to vote, these Republicans vote right along with the Democrats. So these Republicans are voting with the Democrats. They're rhinos. Then you have the neo hawks, the war hawks, the never Trumpers. So yeah, and a lot of that, unfortunately, that political class, period, that elite political class, a lot of times they have their own agendas. So then you have an outside person who's for America first, for the American people, and not just to play these political games and keep everything, at the top like it's been for the last 30, 40, 50, 60 years, even before I was born, right? Yeah, so unfortunately, there's a lot of political games on both sides. And so that's why I rock for people that's rock for America and American Constitution, our rights and individualism, not this globalized global society.
Got you. I'm not going to debate you on that. You are entitled to your views, and I respect you for standing on your views. And it is
And
what it
that's
is.
real talk.
That's Big
It's
Boss
the
Rush.
bossy boss.
Again, the reason I bring this type of stuff up for our younger viewers is we don't have to agree on everything. People are, people have their lives and have a right to have their opinions. Let's just get along. I love it that you and that arch nemesis, you guys had a come together yesterday. So that's beautiful. So
So to
that's
speak. So we'll see how it holds. I
yeah.
guess you can call it a truce per se. We'll see how that holds up.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go to the chat and round things up at the chat before we close out. But I do have another question that all of us that follow you want to know about. I was fascinated when you did this series out in Thailand when you was out there with all of the boys. I saw all of the men, I should say. I think I saw Branjour out
Yep.
there, Richie Mack,
Yep.
BMT, just
Yep.
a lot of guys that I look at from afar. But you did a whole feature on Miss
Yep.
Thumper, and it was a credible set of, you know, Explicit. I showed her a couple of times here. She saw some of the backdrops. Where did that name come from, by the way? And are you guys still in touch?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She messaged me all the time. So that that's cool. Yeah, so we're still in touch, absolutely. She might be watching this stream. She follows me online and all this old kind of stuff. But that name basically comes because her Thai name, is not difficult. It's kind of long, so I just wanted to kind of shorten it, and so I just went with her main bodily feature, which is her backside. So I just called her Thumper. I said, "Hey, you're Miss Thumper," and it stuck.
Yeah, it did stick, and you guys did some interesting streams, I would say, um, from Thailand. So that's
Right.
good to hear. And you plan to keep in touch even when you go to
Oh,
Brazil, huh?
with Miss Thumper.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, it's more so her keeping in touch with me than me keeping in touch with her. I mean,
Mm.
so I move, I do what I do. So yeah, she's pretty much she tries to stay in my orbit, and shout out to her. That's cool. But like I say, yeah, when I go to Brazil, I still plan to go to Thailand, and if she around, if she's free and available, we can always hang out. But I do what I do. Um, there's a Miss Thumper in every country, so it is what it is.
Oh wow. True man from Oak Land. All right, let's go to the chat here and Kings and Dreams. Medellin is the nickname. Is nicknamed the city of eternal spring.
Ha!
Usually in mid, usually in mid high 70s. Usually from December to April. It's winter. It's winter and rains a lot. So it's in the 70s. It's kind of like Seattle, I guess. It rains a lot. I wonder if it's hard rain or light rain. Like here in Seattle, it's very light rain out
Mm,
here. So I think there's some chat going along about a Medellin, if I'm pronouncing
Medellin.
it. Is
Medi,
it
Medi,
Medellin?
Medi. They love Medi, boy. They can have
Yeah,
it.
man.
They can
Uh,
have it.
so what about Barranquilla or Santa Mata, Colombia?
Yeah, so that's the thing. That's why I don't write off a whole country, because a country has a lot of different cities and states and provinces, and I'm I'm a I'm all in on the travel game. So I plan to eventually go to Colombia and go to Cali and Barranquilla and things of that nature. Just
And
like when I
then
go back to Brazil, I plan to go to Fortaleza, Bahia, all these kind of places. So and in Thailand, I plan to eventually go to Chiang Mai and other places. So that's the beauty of travel, that you don't have to be stuck in one or two or even three cities in any country, especially the more touristy series cities. You can just spread out.
yep.
So absolutely, absolutely.
And then I know I see the YouTuber Dre, Love Crossing Borders. I follow them
Yeah,
and watch them.
in Cali.
So
Yeah,
in
he's
Cali,
out there in Cali.
he's funny, man. He's like, "Yo, Cali
Don't
is bad. Don't
He
come
said,
out
don't
here.
come. He used
All you
reverse
Pookie,
psychology.
Pookie and Ray Ray, don't come, man." It's hilarious.
Smart, smart man. Hey
Oh,
man,
very smart.
you don't want him to Dr. Sasua it. You don't want him to tarnish it, right? So
Yeah.
hey, I get it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just going through the comments.
Yeah.
It's, and
You are in
just
Hawaii, or yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I'm down for Hawaii one day, but
I've been
I'll pass
there.
on Puerto Rico.
It's expensive in Hawaii, my friend. I've been there only
I,
twice, but
I
it's
heard
super
that's what everyone
expensive.
say, because it's an island. They say most island places are expensive because everything has to be imported, right?
Um, I
Real
think
what?
you got your first smoke right here from Mr. Jams. I'm trying to figure out what he did for black people besides splitting 225 million among all HBCUs.
Well, yeah. One, I would say the First Step Act was very big. Um, the First Step Act being, for people with felons, obviously, letting them, be able to vote and get jobs and stuff like that. And then I would say more so for the country in general, right? I mean, whether black or white or Hispanic or whatever, we're all Americans. So I'm down for anybody that's down for America. If you put America first, our jobs, our rights, our liberties, you make that first. I'm down for you. I don't care what color you are. Versus you're a party that you're taking care of everybody else. You sending our money everywhere else. You're protecting every other group, or every other protected group, except for blacks, right? More than blacks. Uh, don't want to do that on your channel, but these other alphabet type groups, they get all these kind of rights, and then we don't. So because
Yeah.
this other party wants to look out for everybody else. So as long as you're down for America, American citizens, our Constitution, I'm down for you. You know, the rest of the world is the rest of the world. They can take care of themselves. We're not the world police. I don't think we need to bankroll everybody. I don't think we need to save everybody. Everybody and their mama don't need to come over here. We need to take care of America first.
Yeah, what do you think about Candace Owen? Since you're a political guy, before we spin back
Yeah,
off into the proper
she's a
game.
weird cookie, man. I really was rocking her when she first was coming up, but since then, best thing I can say about her, a broken clock can be right twice a day, right? So she'll say one thing that is on it, and then she'll say two or three other crazy things. I'm like, ah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
So a broken clock can be right twice a day. So with her, you definitely have to eat the fish and spit out the bones with her, absolutely, because yeah,
yeah, yeah. That was a good question, actually. A very good
yeah,
question. It's a
yeah,
good
very good.
political
Yeah,
discussion here.
That Candace Owens, she's an anomaly. You have definitely have to spit out the bones with her, because sometimes she does drop gems. She dropped gems and she's on it. Uh,
Yeah,
but then again, a broken clock can be right twice a day. And other times she'll say some outlandish, crazy stuff that I do not agree with. So
gotcha. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, hey, that was the comment section. Let's
Trump,
let's
Trump is my guy. Trump 2024. MAGA.
let me say this. I respect the way you stand on what you believe, my friend. You stand on it. And so I respect that. So let's keep it rolling. So let's wrap up on some closing thoughts here. I'm not sure I'm going to drop the link unless those in the chat want me to. I'll drop the link, but otherwise, we'll just kind of close out. Let me close out with a Muhammad Ali quote. The man that views his world the same at 50 years old as he did at 20 years old wasted 30 years. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's very big and very profound, because life should be about growth and evolvement. And so, yeah, that one is very touching to me, because I symbolize a lot of that. Because I'm literally 50 years old. I'm 50. I'll be 51, and large part of my worldview is very similar than I was 20, but not a lot, because these 30 years I didn't waste. I learned a lot in these 30 years, but so that statement is very fitting, and there's a lot of truth to that statement. It should be a level of growth, should be a level of maturity. You should evolve. Even the Bible said, when I was a child, I did things as a child. When I'm a man, I put the childish things away. So that's real talk.
Absolutely. I tell my son that a lot, actually. Making that transition from manhood to, from a child to manhood. When you become a man, you got to put those childish ways away. And we all have that little man inside of us, but you have
We
to
do.
say, hey, at this age, I don't watch cartoons anymore. At this age, I'm expected to do a certain type of behavior. So I dig what you're
Absolutely.
saying there. Hey, what's the biggest misconception about being Big Boss? Obviously, that's not your real name, your legal
Right.
name, but your
Right.
Big Boss Real Talk on YouTube. What's the biggest misconception about Big Boss from your perspective?
Biggest misconception. Mm, that's getting a little hard to describe, because then I would have to get into the mind of other people. I would think maybe
I would say from what you perceive, you've had fights out there on YouTube. You've had
Yeah, well, okay,
run-ins.
well, yeah. That's kind of where the vein that my mind was going when you asked that question. I guess the biggest misconception I would be is that I'm a regular, normal YouTuber, and that I get, basically I'm not the one to mess with. So that's gonna be a misconception. If you think that you're just gonna troll Big Boss and make diss videos, that's a very big misconception. Because as you would see, I got the Big Boss Smoke channel. So that's a very big misconception that Big Boss is like any other YouTuber. I am not. You know, I'm a real brother inward that's on YouTube. So that's the biggest misconception. I'm not the one to mess with.
You are not. Shout out to you. I've seen your smoke channel, and you drop a bomb and a B bomb and all kinds of bombs. I
Every
would
bomb,
want.
every bomb imaginable. So
Woo,
I am
that
not,
smoke.
I am not the one to mess with. So you want to do that? You do that with other YouTubers. You don't do that with Big Boss. So I
You
guess
do
that would be the
not.
biggest misconception.
Word, 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 word. Hey, one of the key points you would like to leave our younger viewers with, and I named this show specifically, you know, chart your own course, if you will, and well, what would you like to leave with those guys that's watching us?
I would just like to say, just be authentic, be who you are, be humble. Uh, keep God first, or whatever higher power in your life. Um, Treat others how you want to be treated. But also, I would say, with that, you have to have some fangs, right? You have to have claws. You got to have some bite to your bark. If you're going to be respected as a man, don't be nobody's pushover. But at the same time, don't be a bully, right? Do you, you know what I'm saying? Be the best man you can. Try to help your fellow man and keep God first. Just be authentic, be upfront, but at the same time, don't be a pushover. Nobody respects a pushover, and you just get walked on and walked on. And a lot of times, when you press forward in your purpose, certain doors will close, but certain doors will open, right? And you will find where you supposed to be by this staying true to your purpose.
Powerful, brother. Um, any shout outs or any projects that you're working on or things that you have in the works?
Uh, well, yeah, just shout out to all the YouTubers that rock with Bossy Boss, yourself included, all the YouTubers that came on my channel for this year. Like I said, I've been on YouTube now, my own channel, for 1 year, and during this 1 year, it's been one hell of a ride. So all the YouTubers that pulled up and rock with Bossy Boss, shout out to them. I'm very big with loyalty. If you rock with Boss, I'll rock with you. I'll support you. Um, Whether you're a bigger YouTuber, and especially if you're a smaller YouTuber, something about me, I like being the big bro, the big homie that helps smaller YouTubers. If they have 500 subscribers, 600 subscribers, get them up to 1,000 subscribers. And as I eventually, get more and more subscribers, I still help those who are under me. So I like helping. I like paying it forward and whatnot. I think we're stronger together. To borrow some words from Richie Mack Zoom to Thailand, he likes to always say that we're stronger together. So I'll just say, just shout out. It's just too many to name. I mean, like I say, I have my and thank you. You pulled up when I had my 1 year anniversary party on my channel. You pulled up. Even then, I had a full panel. I had people in the background. I even dropped the ball that I didn't even send out the link to all of the YouTubers. I thought I did, and then I sent it out later, and some of them hit me back. Oh, boss man, why you giving a link 2 hours late? I said, man, you know how many YouTubers came on my channel in over a whole year? It's just too many to name. So, like I say, everybody who rocks with Bossy Boss, I rock with you guys. I'm very big on loyalty, but almost in the same vein, As much as I'm loyal to those loyal to me, I'm a very vicious enemy, and you don't want Bossy Boss as an enemy. So it's better to be my friend. And can we all get along?
Listen here, man. They say your net worth is your net worth. I heard that from Kings and Dreams, so I just stole that line from yesterday. I heard him say that.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to close out with your opening. It's probably the last time I'm going to be able to play this. I love this. That's how you open your shows. Guys, it's been a pleasure having Big Boss Real Talk on the show. Blessing our babies with game, information that's not readily known, but understood to be the truth. That's what I call game.
Yes,
It's
sir.
been a pleasure having you on the show, my brother.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you got some exclusive. A lot of the information I shared here is the first time ever on YouTube. So shout out to you.
All right. So this is the Bet Out of Debt Show. We call this show the Bet Out of Debt Show because when you place a trade, it's called placing a bet, which is a metaphor for investing. And hopefully it's a winning one to keep you out of debt. And like always, keep investing. We'll have some investment shows coming up in the future. And take care, guys. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Take care.
Bet I'm out of debt. I'm cool in the gang. You remember? Broke days and nights off in Virginia. You denied like homie, you ain't a member. Now I'm the president rolling down my window. Credit score check. Tune in, check to see what's next. Now bet out of debt. Yeah, health, wealth, and sex. Living way above getting checks. Yeah, bet out of debt.